Hi everybody, I'm Heather with Heather Lynn Coaching, and this video is going to pick up where I left off on my journey to connection. I left off talking about how I was experiencing my connection even prior to ending my former relationship, and so I want to pick up where that left off because I didn't realize any of that until well after I knew my twin or met my connection, my twin flame. So it was probably around March, April of 2016, and I was still in the former relationship that I just felt I knew it had to come to an end. And I was driving to work one day, and I was so upset about it all, and I was like, I don't know how to end this. I have to, and I know in my heart that I have to do this. It's for the greater good, higher purpose. It's bigger than me. I'm driving to work, and I'm like, asking my spirit guides to help me figure out how to do this on my own. I was like, I'm not one to be disloyal. I was loyal and faithful. And I was like, wow, I kind of wish I would just meet him now because it was so hard to give it up without I don't know. I was like, well, maybe if I meet him now, then I can just cheat and move on. And, I knew that wasn't, a good, healthy thing. That kind of thing's not good. And I was this was just coming from a place of total fear. Like I was scared. And suddenly in that moment, I had this vision of this man, and he appeared in my head, and how he looked and how he was dressed, and he, just the whole personality and everything. And I was like, wow. I knew, I was like, wow, that I can see who that's going to be. And I kind of had an idea, and I kept looking up, and I could literally see, I had a vision of this person, and I didn't think I just let it go. And I was like, oh, okay, well, he'll come around when he comes around. I'm not trying to be, a cheater. I want to do this all on my own kind of thing. And so then later, once I did encounter him here in Texas and went back to Florida, I still didn't even catch on. Then I heard his voice in my head, and then I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, that was the guy who was in my head all those months ago. Stop it. Stop it. Like, you cannot make this shit up. It is deep and intense. No. You cannot make this up. It's real. It's real as the day. It is real as the day is long. Tam about real. So I'm realizing all this, right? And what does it do? What good does it do me? None. It just makes it more intense and more difficult to deal with. And I'm crying all the time. I'm miserable. I can't stop thinking about him. I'm like, what's wrong with you? You just have a crush on this guy. Get over yourself. Pull up your big girl pants. Get your shit together, girl. Get it together. And I just could not get it together. I was really struggling. Really struggling. However, we remained in contact, and he was equally intrigued, and we wanted to see each other. And I came back to Texas, and it was like cray, like Kundalini opening, crazy connection, like whoa. Just spending some time together. And there are reasons that he wasn't coming to Florida, and people were like judging that and saying all kinds of shit. And that was even more reason for me to have to try to keep it all close, centered inside my heart, because I knew in my heart, I knew intimately with him what was happening, and I didn't need to explain it to anyone or, make them understand. So I quit talking about it. I quit sharing it. I kept it very close to me, very personal. Because I'm like, I don't owe anyone an explanation. I'm a big girl. I pay my own bills. I go to work. I do what I need to do. And I don't have to explain myself to you of why I'm accepting someone who doesn't appear to you to be the way they should be acting or what they should be doing towards me. That's just fucking, oh, sorry. That's just, that's crap. That's not living from a heart space and living from a space that says we accept everyone and everyone deserves love unconditionally. Okay, this person I know for a fact was equally freaked out and equally like, I'm going to push her away and I'm going to act a certain way because this is what I've always done. And so if I act this way, then she'll go away and I don't have to deal with the way that I feel. Yeah. That's what I could see. That's what I was mature enough to see. I could see his other side too, and I could see through what he's going through. When they tell you that this connection, who they call your twin flame, is a mirror of, and you can see right through them and they can't fool you, it's true. And nor could I fool him. It's true. It's still true today. Nothing's changed. It's only gotten more intense. It's the same. And so, I could see through what was going on the surface with him, and loving him unconditionally anyway was paramount. And I was like, oh, you can try that or whatever. Not so fast. I know exactly why you're acting the way you're acting and what you're doing. It's fine. But guess what? The connection between us is still there, and I'm going to deal with it. And you can do what you want to do with it, and I'm going to do what I want to do with it, which is face it head on. And, we never cut each other off. There's a lot of talk in Twin Flame community about cutting each other off, cutting off well, I blocked him and he, well, guess what? You're not loving unconditionally. There were plenty of times when my divine masculine acted like an ass and was just horrible, like awful, seemed awful to me. But I could see through all of that. And I was like, okay, whatever. You want to try to get rid of me like you did everyone else because you're too afraid to deal with, what's going on. I'm not scared of you. Go ahead. Go ahead. I see right through it. So you can grow up and put your big boy pants on and, embrace the connection too, or you can run from it. And he's chosen to embrace it, and we're gentle with each other. Sometimes he can be a little bit of a, but sometimes I can be a little bit extra, maybe, for him. And that's okay. It's just a matter of finding your groove and being willing to stand in your power and own the connection that you have with this person. And also understanding loving them unconditionally. I see and hear so many complaints about, well, my twin did this and my twin acts this way. And, in fact, I recently saw someone who said, my twin is taking, or is using cocaine. I think my twin's addicted to cocaine. This is what it said. I think my twin's addicted to cocaine, and I think this means we will never have union. We will never be able to come together. Could you abandon yourself any more than that and put it on Facebook and own that shit any more than that? I mean, okay, number one, I'm not being judgmental. This is totally, it is what it is. People do coke, whatever. Some people are addicted to it, but just because someone's using it doesn't mean they have an addiction. They may not have an addiction. My point is, this person on Facebook who feels like this person, the other person is their twin flame, is completely judging and ignoring them and deciding that they have this drug addiction. They don't even clearly know whether or not if they do or not. And also going ahead and saying, we'll never be together because of it. What the hell? You're like totally living here in your fear and future and what you think is never going to happen instead of being present and just being, just relax, relax a little bit, relax, and find out what is really going on with your twin and your connection, and stop living from a place of fear and deciding that you already know the outcome and holding on to some outcome when you don't know. You're not living in your purpose, and you're certainly not allowing them to live in theirs. And by the way, if you are worried about your twin and doing something like that and being addicted to things, you can clear energy for your twin. And this is what I'm talking about when I say you have to find quiet time, go on the grass, listen to your guides, listen to where the energy needs to be cleared. Because when you are attached to someone like this and connected this way, the bond can't be broken. You can clear some energy for them and for you. It's true, you can. I've done it. It does work. It happens. Okay, so here we are playing this dance, and I've come to Texas two or three times. Well, we have this one time, and we have this crazy experience of Kundalini sexual encounter, and it's truly insane. Like, both of us are like, whoa. I still didn't know like what that meant, like twin flame connection. I still didn't have any. I didn't know what it was. I just knew how I felt about him, and then I felt crazy, and that, it was, I didn't know what to do. So then I go home from that, and I start doing some research and stuff, and I start, I think I started with tarot. I don't even know. I just found something about the twin flame, and I was instantly like, oh my God, that's what this is. Now I understand what this connection is, and I started to, try to settle into having that kind of connection. Thankfully, I had a meditation practice already in place. I already liked crystals. I was already using essential oils. I, do yoga, all those things. So the awakening for me was, it was good. It was pretty gentle. And then I think what I did next was send a letter to my twin, because that was the easiest way for me to express myself to him and be in my truth. And I just really wanted to share. I've never shared with anyone like I have with him in letters and stuff. And I sent him this long letter, and I said, I just told him, I think you're connected to me this way. And, I can't remember, it was like 2 years ago, whatever. It was a long time ago. So then, we continued this dance back and forth of, we stayed in communication, and we talked when we talked. I've always felt him with me. I've always felt his presence around. I've asked him for guidance and asked him to help me make decisions over and over and over. But the one significant thing that has really brought me to this place that I can say 2 years later is that I love the connection unconditionally, and I love him unconditionally. And I understand when he's acting a certain way that it's okay. Like, I have to understand that we both have patterns to break from, patterns that we were raised in that showed us how to love the way we love each other, or the way we love anyone. And dealing with the core wounds and getting back to that, getting to understand our inner child and what our inner child was missing, and had told themselves that they were what they were without, because Okay, so when you're a little kid, we all do it. We make up these stories to ourselves, and we say we wouldn't be accepted if so and so knew this, or but those are just stories, and I don't know why they occur so early, but they do. They occur so early to tell ourselves these stories about what we aren't for other people in our life, and they're just stories. But it's just incredible how we do that as little kids without even, we don't even understand why we do that. We get to be it's not like I had some crappy childhood. I was the youngest in a very loving family, and it wasn't even my family. It was like bullies and other influences that made me feel, that caused me, not made me feel, but caused me to feel insignificant, insecure, smaller than, less than, vulnerable. Like I had some bullies and just people or whatever pick it on me. So those, next installment